Friends, it's all come down to this. We stand at the precipice of a new year, the last gasp of 2016. We are tired and we are broken, but before we can rest, there is one final battle we must fight as we pit 34 of the best games of 2016 against each other in a life or death battle. So join us as we watch these games, these human souls made digital, put their hearts, bodies, and minds on the line for the Let's Fight a Boss 2016 Game of the Year.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for joining us for the final Let's Fight a Boss cast of 2016. Joining us here, we have the indomitable Brian.
Hey everyone, let's do this.
The inscrutable Neve. And with you always, I'm your host, John. So the way this is going to work is that we have 3 categories that we're going to be awarding the most coveted of awards to. The first one being Best Old Game 2016. The second one being my personal favourite, Biggest Shit Show of 2016. And the third, the coveted Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year 2016. Might as well mention that we stole all this wholesale from Giant Bomb, and we do it shamelessly.
Yeah, we're all big fans.
Big fans.
It's a very, very good template.
Yeah, they know their stuff. So, let's say we just kick things off and go straight into Best Old Game 2016. These are all old games that we played in 2016, which we feel are worth discussing. For it, each of us brought 2 candidates. For me, it's Haunting Ground and Super Mario Galaxy. For Brian, it's Super Mario Bros. 3 and Kirby's Adventure. And for Neve, it's Bravely Default and Fire Emblem. Who wants to make the first cut?
Let's just cut Kirby's Adventure.
Okay. I got no qualms with that.
Kirby's 25 years old this year. Well, in 2017 now. He's a cool guy. This is his first game on the NES. It came out in 1993, which is pretty late for a NES era game. At this point, Super Mario World was already out.
Wow.
But this game plays super tight. There's no bullshit like there is with a lot of old NES games. Like a lot of them are just like fucking collision problems through the roof. Yeah,
I always feel like the old Kirby games and the game, like his Game Boy games as well, they age so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game's on the 3DS. It's on the new NES Classic. That's super hard to get. It's on a load of the virtual consoles, and it's usually on sale for like €3 or €4, and I highly, highly recommend it.
Well, I'm going to cut Super Mario Bros. 3.
Nope.
I don't know. I think that's a real good game.
Not just yet.
What? John, what were yours again? Haunting Ground.
You want to cut Haunting Ground?
Yeah.
The greatest survival horror game ever?
Nah, cut it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bye.
Okay, look, I'm not going to fight Haunting Ground, but that is a really fucking weird game, and if you like strange PS2 bullshit, that game is surprisingly well made, not from a game design perspective, but it looks beautiful and it's a lot of fun, but it is not our old game of 2016. Okay, and so with that, I am going to cut Super Mario Galaxy 2. 2, sorry, I misspoke. It's Mario Galaxy 2 I played this year. That's a really great game. It's really cool. That motion controls, they are such bullshit, and I was able to grow cold from motion controls. I didn't touch them, and now I had to go back and remember what they were. They're terrible.
Oh, I love Super Mario Galaxy 2.
It's an amazing game. It's just the motion controls that make me not want to play it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame, but do you want to fight me on that?
No, I'll fight you on other stuff, but fine. We can, people out there love Super Mario Galaxy 2, and the impression they have of John is accurate.
Okay, so our top 3 old games of 2016 are Super Mario Bros. 3, Bravely Default, and Fire Emblem. So how do we pick?
Can we reach a consensus first?
Oh, what are you proposing?
Bravely Default.
As number 1 or number 3?
As number 1.
Fuck no.
I'm kind of easy. I think there is an argument to be made for Super Mario Bros. 3 because that is an exceptional game.
Nah, see, for me it's Fire Emblem Awakening would be number 1.
Man.
Really? Okay.
That's the best old game. It's good shit.
I think I could be okay with that.
Yeah, like I put it down here, but the problems I had with Fire Emblem, I felt were remedied in
Bravely Default.
Bravely Default. Like anything that I wanted to be in that game was in that game.
I'm hearing more passion for Fire Emblem and Bravely Default than I am for Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd say cut that. So Bravely Default versus Fire Emblem. Now this one's tough because I love both these games. These are both fantastic JRPGs, and I think they both solve problems with JRPGs that I've had for a really long time, but they're both such different problems.
Yeah. Like, I'm only rooting for Fire Emblem Awakening because I replayed it this year. And I prefer it to Fates, which came out this year as well. Like, I think Awakening is a better game. Like, it is the Fire Emblem game to play.
Yeah, it's what got me back into handheld gaming. Like, getting that was such a great experience. It's what kind of drove me to get Bravely Default in a way. But there is some major issues I have with it. For example, just the visual style of the locations, like the maps, is kind of weak.
Yeah, it is. There's not a whole lot of like great art direction or
It's
anything
very
going
bland
on.
looking. There's a few select maps that have architecture, but for the most part it's field.
Yeah.
Okay, Neve. Not to start strategizing too soon here,
Okay.
but if you're willing to take Fire Emblem over Bravely Default, I have a feeling Bravely Second might go pretty far.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
And with that, we have our very first Let's Fight a Boss award of 2016. Fire Emblem Awakening is our old game of 2016. And I think that's a good one. That is a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say it's the best game on 3DS.
Yeah, for sure. For anyone who's kind of curious why there's kind of humming and hawing, we all have lists and we're all like just ticking games off the list.
Yep. So with that, we're going to move on to our next category, the biggest shit show of 2016.
Yes.
So the nominees are No Man's Sky. I don't know what more I could possibly say than just No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Palmer Luckey being outed as the funder of Nimble America. Digital Homicide explodes. Bethesda's review policy. The Peachy Printer. The Calico Chameleon. And Mighty Number 9. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to say I think strike Bethesda's review policy. Because that was a shitty thing, but it was not a pure disaster for them. They were like behind the messaging. They knew what to expect. I felt like it never caught fire despite getting a lot of outrage.
It depends what our award is for. Like, is shit show a PR shit show? Is something that blew up and got crazy? Or is shit show just something awful that happened in gaming?
I kind of see it as more a pure shit show. Like,
Okay.
just they completely lost control of the situation. Everything was up in flames. People were running all over the place, covered in shit. That kind of thing.
Okay.
And that there's people giving like common feedback that's just like this isn't good.
And like, I think what Bethesda did fucking sucks. I think the way they're favoring like kind of, you know, people who are going to give them positive preview coverage automatically over actual journalists, that's shitty. But I feel like this is all within their expected parameters. And especially like when you compare that to everything else on this list, like we have several companies that have died on this list because of these incidents. Bethesda they're not going to feel this.
Yeah. So that's like nearly the sad thing about it. I'm happy to see it go, but I feel like this review policy thing will come back in a year or two's time when some really crap stuff is happening with gaming.
Yeah.
What games did they make?
Bethesda?
Fallout, Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure. People love those games.
Brian, take the knife.
Let's just get rid of the Calico Chameleon.
Yep.
Or no. Let's do Peachy Printer first, then
Yeah.
Calico Chameleon. Just get those two.
Yeah, I they would be my next two to eliminate. What do you think, Neve?
Yeah. Peachy Printer is one of the most hilarious things. If you don't know what the Peachy Printer saga is, it's worth looking up.
Yeah, it's
We'll link it in.
It's
the Twitter.
fantastic. It's like art.
Yeah.
Why did he put money into making that video about how they're broke?
I don't know.
It's beautiful. And then the Calico Chameleon, that is also like its own just... Watching that story unfold, like where it was meant to be this like old kind of retro video game console, and then it was like, you know, the internet detectives were like, that just looks like this old screen capture software in a box. That was fantastic.
Yeah. I think that was a fun little report that they had, and that kind of like was born and died over the space of a weekend.
Yep. Neve.
Digital Homicide explodes. Because I feel it's expected of them.
Yeah, that was an eventuality with those guys. Like, these were the guys who they started a lawsuit with Jim Sterling because they released all these like asset flip games, and then they started trying to sue Steam user groups, which you can't do. And
Anyone
Steam,
giving bad reviews to their games or bad feedback.
And Steam blacklisted them, so they were banned from Steam, pretty much killing their company. And it was no shock. Like, these guys have been morons for years.
Yeah, so it kind of ranks higher, I guess, just because they're an ongoing shit show that finally, like, the mountain of shit fell over.
There were just several bad decisions. It wasn't one bad decision that got them there.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to say... So we're down to our top three. Mighty Number 9, Palmer Luckey, No Man's Sky. And I am going to say Palmer Luckey being the funder of Nimble America. I think it has destroyed his career in a lot of ways, but I think it was very much concentrated around one individual, whereas these other two, I feel like there's so much more to it than that.
They have more of a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And like as shitty as I think the stuff Palmer Luckey was like, and the kind of people he was hanging around with were, it's like, if that's what he wants to do with his money, okay, like, but it doesn't strike me as an industry level disaster on the scale of these other two.
I feel the community reacted correctly, and I think he hasn't been very vocal since.
Yep. Okay, so down to our top two. Which do you guys think should be our shit show of the year?
I think it's pretty obvious.
So I was thinking about this, okay? I think Mighty Number 9 should be the shit show of the year.
John, no.
Okay.
Just
hear me out.
Just to be different.
No,
Yeah.
hear me out, okay? At the end of this year, No Man's Sky are in this position where they've released this patch, and for the first time, there's fans of No Man's Sky who are actually happy. Like, they're like, okay, I like this.
These are the people who have held on this long. They are the people who are going to be happy by a patch.
Yeah. But No Man's Sky is Hello Games.
Yeah.
Yep.
They are still a studio. They are still producing content. I feel Mighty Number 9.
Which is red ass.
Yep. We saw Keiji Inafune, is that the guy?
Yep.
We have seen the death of an industry legend from Mighty Number 9. He has lost all credibility. Like, no one was ever going to trust him to make a game ever again. And he's not adding to his new games. Like, Red Ash will not come out. Like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I still see room for Hello Games to recover. I think Concept is dead, and with it dies a legend. That is why I think it should be the shit show of the year.
I think between the three of us, and if we're speaking personally, none of us were affected by No Man's Sky because none of us bought the game. We all watched it from a safe distance. Mm-hmm. Like we were just not affected as consumers.
Some of us even called it months and months and months in advance.
But I backed Mighty Number 9, and I hate that game. So I take that game personally. So I think I think I'm going to put Mighty Number 9 as the biggest shit show of the year.
God, you're both crazy. No Man's Sky, the situation that happened around that has completely been unheard of in gaming. This is in like conspiracy level theory levels of crazy in the gaming community. There's video after video about did he lie?
The Chinese triads are involved in the story with Mighty Number 9.
There is going to be an amazing Netflix documentary about No Man's Sky. There has to be. It's like, I feel like it's a point in gaming that has to be observed of, like, because they've changed stuff in the Game Awards. You weren't meant to be showing anything that wasn't full gameplay. Steam changed their screenshot.
That's a really good point.
It has changed the landscape for gaming. And like, I don't know if people will be so ready to trust when developers go out there and say, like, hype might have like had a little nail.
You
in
think
its
this is a
coffin.
turning point in hype culture?
I would hope so. Like, holy crap. I mean, we were burned with Watch Dogs 1. And then it's like we never really learned. And then No Man's Sky happened. And it was the biggest shit show, really, for months. Like, I think it just has far more reaching ramifications. Like, Brian showed me and John a video of going into the secondhand game shop. And it's just stacks and stacks and stacks of this game.
I'll tweet that out, actually. I think you're kind of flipping me
It was
with
like
this.
Critical Darling, like, that went to just be like this
I remember
mirror up against marketing, consumer culture, hype culture.
Do you remember when they were marketing No Man's Sky as the last game you'll ever need?
Yeah.
It's got everything you need in it.
That little, like, he was so obnoxious. Oh, they don't have
Sean
games.
Murray's the
Yeah,
guy.
he was so obnoxious. Other games have invisible boxes, have sky boxes. Our game doesn't. None of that was there. It does. He was just a little liar who really wanted to achieve the things I think he wanted to achieve. I don't think he was trying to push a lie, but he just shocked to, like, he's the new Peter Molyneux.
I can't argue with that, Brian.
The thing I'd say about No Man's Sky is that I think that shit show legacy is still ongoing. Like, that's going to roll well into 2017.
Yeah, but I definitely believe something worse will happen in 2017 in gaming. You know, it needs to get its due in 2016.
Well, I think the only thing that beats No Man's Sky from last year was Konami, just the entirety of Konami.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we'll ever see an implosion that hard again. But okay, if this is coming down to a vote, I'm going to vote for No Man's Sky.
Okay. I'm going to stick by my vote of Mighty Number 9 because I backed the game, but if it's 2 against 1, it's 2 against 1.
Okay, so it's No Man's Sky, biggest shit show, 2016.
Sean Murray, congratulations! The award is in the mail. It's like a man covered in shit.
Yeah.
Okay, and so with that, we are moving on to the main rankings. So the way this works is we have 34 games here, and we're going to be eliminating them one by one. I'm going to read a list of the games just so everyone can follow. But it's worth noting as well that none of us are like professional video games journalists, and I just bring that up because we did not have time to play every good game this year. There were several ones like Titanfall 2, like Dishonored 2 that we just did not get a chance to play. And I think like we all would have loved to, but between kind of like personal lives and work stuff, there was just several times we had to just make a call. And I think like, especially from what I've seen from Titanfall 2 and Pokemon Sun and Moon, they'd probably do pretty okay on this list.
Yeah.
But it just came down to, you know, we had to pick a game and we wanted to play something else more, regardless of which was better.
And the games we miss here, if we do play them in the new year, they'll be up for
Best Old Game 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are actually a few surprise additions to this list which we have not talked about on the podcast before. The first of which is The Last Guardian. And then moving on to the rest of them, we have Hitman, The Bunker, Hyper Light Drifter, Project Diva X, Dark Souls 3, Overwatch, Pokemon Go, Fury, Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, Kirby Planet Robo, that's the name of it?
Robobot.
Kirby Planet Robobot, Uncharted 4, Miitomo, Fire Emblem Fates, Pokken Tournaments, Firewatch, Mafia 3, Watch Dogs 2, Inside, Doom, Deus Ex, Blues and Bullets, The Division, Let It Die, Final Fantasy 15, Anatomy, River City, Tokyo Rumble, Bravely Seconds, Street Fighter 5, VA-1 Hall-A, Stardew Valley, Guilty Gear Revelator, Yokai Watch 2, Mighty Number 9. One of these games will be our game of the year.
Did you put in Binding of Isaac Afterbirth as well?
I did not, because I don't think that should be there. Because
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say about that game. Like, Afterbirth's cool, but it's not a big enough step forward for me to consider it for this year again.
Okay, then that's 33 games.
Okay, 33.
Which is a nice number.
That's a nice number.
That's like 10 games per person.
So if you guys don't mind, I think I would like to draw first blood on this list.
Okay, go for it.
So I think there are worse games on the list than the first one I want to eliminate. But there is no game I am less interested in talking about. And that is The Bunker. I think The Bunker should be the first casualty.
Yeah, fuck it.
I got nothing. Like, I think there's cool things about that game. It didn't resonate with me in any way. And it's a lack of interest that I put it forward for first.
I agree. Part of me loves it.
That's okay.
Part of me wants everyone to play it and be like, what the fuck? Like, it's an FMV game, and my favorite part that just made me laugh for ages is if you don't press X, it's like a video of this man trying to open a door. So he'll fail spectacularly at opening the door. His hand will be rubbing all around but the handle, and you can just leave that going for ages. But yeah, I'm okay with seeing it go.
Just a very lame game.
It is.
Bunker, you are the 33rd 2016 game Let's Fight a Boss game of the year.
Okay. Then to really, really send home the message of The Bunker, let's put at number 32, Mighty Number 9.
Sure, no question there. Just not a game that did not play well, but also a game that was totally without charm. Like, it was soulless, that game. And it should have been soul. It should have been the soul of Mega Man, and it was not.
Yeah, that game can go away. That can fuck off.
Yeah, it can fuck right off. Neve.
I'm going to say Pokken Tournament.
I want to hold on to that for a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah, this is tough.
Anatomy.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Project Diva X.
Hey, no!
I didn't expect us to be getting into it this soon. This is fucked. This is going to be so painful.
Project Diva X is good. I need to hold on to it for a little.
Find Miitomo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Miitomo. That was an interesting couple of hours I spent with it, and then it just felt like nothing.
Yeah. It is. It's just junk.
Yeah. Okay, so it is my turn, and I am going to go for River City Tokyo Rumble. I do not think that's a good game. I think they're charging 20 to 30 quid for it, and it is not worth that. This was one of my most disappointing games of the year. I don't think they really tapped into what makes a scrolling beat 'em up good, and instead they tried to tack on a bunch of RPG mechanics that did nothing, and the controls are terrible. The fighting does not feel good. I really recommend not getting this game. There is a fan-made, I think, game called River City Tokyo Rampage, and I haven't checked it out, but if you want like a scrolling fighter, I think that might be a way better way to go. I'm very disappointed. I'm very upset.
I'm very upset, yeah.
So that is the 30th game.
Alright, let's see. I think we should get rid of either one of mine or one of Neil's, so it's either The Division or Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE.
Wow, I'm surprised to see Tokyo Mirage Sessions on there.
Yeah.
Neve, how are you feeling about that?
Okay, yeah. The Division was very disappointing.
Well, maybe we'll hold on to Tokyo just because it has anime in it. Just for like maybe
That's
one
really
more round.
important.
Okay.
So, can we just say number 29, The Division?
Yep.
Neve, you want to give The Division its eulogy?
I bought The Division digitally, and I wish I didn't do that because now I can't return it.
I know. That's devastating, isn't it?
Because I thought it would be a game I would spend a lot of time in. At the start, it was fun. I had a lot of fun until you realise it's the same thing repeated over and over and over. And when you have a game like that, in-game is so important, and that was just not there.
Yep.
And I had to wait in a queue on the very first day to get into the game.
Virtual lines.
Yeah.
That's just brilliant. I'm going to say...
No, it's Neve's.
Sorry.
Technically now
yeah.
it is Neve's go.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of fed her that one.
So Tokyo Mirage Sessions then?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not going to fight it because I didn't play it. I think there's worse games on this list. I was very impressed with Tokyo Mirage from what I saw.
What is worse games, John? I don't know what you're talking about.
Like I bought this game, I played it, and I have no personal attachment to this game. And there's other games.
But I didn't hear much passion for a Pokken Fighter. Wait, do we eliminate Pokken Fighter?
No,
No,
yet.
it's still there.
Pokken Tournament's better than Tokyo Mirage.
Okay. That's fine.
So yeah, Tokyo Mirage is number 28.
28.
Just, don't like that game.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I really want to like it. Persona 5 looks fucking amazing though. So
Yeah, God. I can't wait to see where that ranks next year.
Oh yeah.
So now it's my turn.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for, I guess, Pokken Tournaments.
Okay.
It's
Wait,
like-
hang on. Does that mean that Firewatch is doing better than Pokken Tournament? Because I'm not okay with that.
That's a hard one to answer because I guess yeah, but in our hearts, no.
Look, the reason I have not eliminated Firewatch yet, well, there's two. It tried something different, and it looks really cool.
We can get into a Firewatch discussion if we want to talk about where it places. So do you want to cut Firewatch now? Is that what's happening?
We
have to be honest about the pros and cons of this game.
I guess just...
Is it...
I don't like Firewatch, okay? But we had a big fucking conversation about that game. And even though we all felt negatively about it, we felt passionately about it.
Yeah.
I don't think there is... Like, even Brian, like, I haven't heard you talk about Pokken Tournaments, and I haven't seen anything from it that made me think it looks really cool.
Right.
And I haven't, or from anyone. Like, I haven't heard anyone talking passionately about Pokken Tournaments. I'm sure it's a solid game.
I did replay it in the Nintendo store in New York, and I was like, I really, really got to pick this game up.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm still holding on to it.
Like, the only reason I'm not is I don't have any reason why we would... Like, I know the pros of Firewatch. I don't really know the pros of Pokken Tournaments.
Mega Gengar has a cool super combo.
Does it play like Tekken?
Yeah.
Brian, that's not true.
It does a bit.
It doesn't, does it? Don't make me fight for something on false information here.
I mean...
Plays a bit like Tekken.
It's like a fighting game.
I think Firewatch should rank higher than it.
Like, really?
I mean, the other way I'd be willing to go is Project Diva X, just because I don't have a lot of investments in that game.
So you want Hatsune Miku to fucking exit the room and hold on to Firewatch?
I think Firewatch does not deserve to go out at this point.
But we really, really like Hatsune Miku. And we like Pokemon.
You know, I'm more of a Supersonico guy myself.
Oh my god.
Is there actually... Damn, I fucking should have played Nitro plus Blasters Heroines Infinite Duel. Okay, look, I'm just going to say it. 2017's old game of the year, Nitro plus Blasters Heroines Infinite Duel.
You can't do that. Stop that.
Did you put that Digimon Cybersuit game on this?
Oh god, I didn't actually.
Fuck.
Well, I guess that says more than anything.
Yeah.
I want to spend more time with that game. That seemed cool, but look, it's too late to put it in now, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't rank high enough to change things, I don't think. But that game is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, that's cool. It's got Nakano Broadway in it.
Okay, what do you guys think? Like, the war here is between Project Diva X, Firewatch, and Pokken Tournaments.
Fine. Project Diva X. I can't fucking believe Firewatch is going to be... Like, that game should fuck off.
It's going right into the top 10, Brian.
Brian, I don't like that game either, but there is some better stuff about it.
That's 27, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
We can't get salty already. We're not even into the top 20.
But we don't even like that game.
I know, but it has merit. Like, even if we don't like it, there is merit to it.
None of us have thought about it since.
I have, and I shake
Yeah.
my head and go, mm.
Oh, it's like a toothache.
Okay, Brian, it's your turn.
Firewatch.
No, I don't think Pokken Tournament should beat Firewatch.
I think it should. Pokemon's way better than Firewatch.
Pokemon is. Pokken
The
Tournament...
art direction of Firewatch alone is something to consider it a bit higher. Like Ollie Moss translating his visual style and colors into a game that you can
Yeah, into
see to
3D
explore.
space.
Like, it worked. It was really nice. I took loads of screenshots.
Yeah, like, I would nearly say that is possibly the best looking game of 2016, when it's not running like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it should go ahead of Pokken.
Alright.
Okay, so Pokken Tournament is gone. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
26.
You okay, Brian?
Nope. This isn't even the game I didn't like the most on the list. There's other bullshit I'm looking at here, and I fucking see it, and I'm like, you're gonna fucking make it higher, and you don't deserve this.
Neve.
Let It Die?
No.
Okay.
Did that game like make you feel good?
Yep.
Okay, then yeah, we'll hold on to it.
Okay. What about Valhalla? That's the bar game, isn't it?
I would put Stardew Valley ahead of Valhalla.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Stardew Valley?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Stardew Valley is a pretty okay farming sim kind of game. If you like Harvest Moon and stuff like that, it is a nice, sweet game to check out. It's very relaxing, very time consuming. Didn't really do it for me personally. I know a lot of people like it, but I think the art style lets it down a lot. Like, there's like the most popular mods for it is like new character portraits, just because all the character portraits look really kind of blah. And I think that kind of stuff bothered me about it. But if you want a chill time, like if you want something nice to play over Christmas, that is actually a pretty good one, and it's just released on PS4 as well. So, you know, fair play to it. That is the 25th game.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't think Pokemon Go should go any further.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Why Pokemon Go?
I was wondering, was someone gonna, like, in a way I feel like it should because it was so influential, but I guess, you know, people fell off that game. I think
it could have went further if it wasn't, like, it shot itself in the foot in a lot of ways. Like, the nearby system not working, them...
Yeah, it's like
making
all
scarcity.
that stuff. And I think, like, if the gameplay was just better, like even slightly better, or if it had kind of like worked a little harder to be an actually good game rather than a phone app, I think it could have shot up this list, you know? So that's number 24, Pokemon Go.
It was probably the most played game for me in July and August. But not anymore. Like, great game for the summer.
Mm-hmm. Brian.
Last Guardian.
What,
Whoa.
really?
Yep, I want that game gone.
Okay, totally.
I'm the only person who's played The Last Guardian. Can I talk about The Last Guardian?
Yeah.
Talk about Last Guardian, Brian.
I don't like
Go
The
for it.
Last Guardian at all. It's not a good game. You're going to see all these 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 critic reviews. In 2 months' time, you're going to see lots of YouTube videos where people are doing critiques going, guys, this game isn't actually good. Mm-hmm. It's Bioshock Infinite all over again. It's not a good game. At a core level, this game has a deep flaw, and that is the fucking Griffin character Trico, or Trico, whatever he's called. I hate that fucking thing so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, the idea of this game is that you're meant to, like, love this creature. Like...
A dog companion, basically.
Yeah. It's more of a cat, and I'm a cat person, but this thing, like, there's nothing there. And the way the story progresses, you're meant to just, like, go on an adventure with this beast. But the AI... And, like, I played this game start to finish because I wanted to see it through. I did not, like, have any emotional connection with this creature.
Do you think maybe you're just dead inside, Brian?
No.
No.
Because there's other games here that I'm like, yeah. But fuck no.
Okay.
This would make a great Studio Ghibli film. I highly recommend this game to watch as a Let's Play. Do not spend money on this game. Do not buy this game. It is not fun to play.
Is it worse than Firewatch?
Yep. It is. It's worse than Firewatch.
I mean, everything I've seen in the game doesn't really do anything for me. And I'm not going to defend it because I think I'm going to be using up my credits for that in a bunch of other ways. I'm not sure it should go out this early, but I'm not going to stand against it.
A bunch of people are going to be real fucking salty about me saying this. Feel free to email me directly about this. Like send an email to askletsfighttheboss@gmail.com and personally address Brian at the top.
Yep.
You're wrong about this game. It's not a good game.
You can't tell people they're wrong for enjoying it.
I kind of want to play it just to see that be so bad. Because I think it's completely 100% an AI issue that they could not resolve.
Yeah,
and they had gone too far.
Like, the game should have stayed cancelled because...
You might say it might have been one of the best games of 2011.
this should be the best game never made, but it got made.
Okay, I'm striking it off. That is 23, the 23rd game of the year.
It's getting real good, isn't it?
Yeah, this is tough.
Street Fighter 5.
No fucking way, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, fuck it. Street Fighter 5.
You know, you're saying that, but it's still like barely a game.
That's not true.
It's a game for the most hardcore players at this stage.
And guess who of that is sitting at this table and is willing to fight all the way for this thing?
Can you recommend someone like buy this now?
A casual player? Not really. 30 quid maybe? If you like fighting games, abso-fucking-lutely. This is the best Street Fighter game since Third Strike.
And and Capcom should suffer for what they did to, like, if they like release this at a later date with more of the functionality and more of the characters.
But
in
I mean,
there.
like you say, the functionality, the fighting is amazing.
No, not not the core gameplay. I'm
But
talking about
that's
what's there. They promised aspects of a game that doesn't exist.
well, like they do now. Like they haven't promised arcade. Like the arcade mode has materialized. A story mode has. A like bunch of different training modes has. Like everything works for them now. They're supporting the game into a second season.
I wish I could transport you back in time to when you were first talking about this game and the disappointment in your little John voice when you were talking
Look,
about it.
I am still really disappointed in this voice. Like I've said it before, but there is an alternate universe where this game does for fighting games what Overwatch did for shooters, and I'm
We're
devastated.
not in that universe.
I'm devastated we're not, but that fact does not, like, if you think this game is going out at 23rd, like, there is precious few games I'm willing to fight for on this list. Street Fighter 5 is one of them.
Okay, but know that I'm coming for it.
Come for it all you want. There's no games I love this year, Neve. I'm invincible. You can't kill what's dead.
I'm the exact same. Okay. We get rid of Firewatch now?
Yeah. Do.
That's a really bad game.
Oh god, like there's things about Firewatch I like really specific individual things. I like the rhythm of conversations in that game. I like the lighting in that game. I like taking photos in that game. I hate basically everything else in that game.
I love the graphic design in that game completely. There was a moment I knew in this I would not like it. So you can pick up stuff and examine them. So you can pick up his wedding photo or his wedding band. There is no button for you to gently put them back on the table. He just flings them to the floor or across the thing because they didn't think about it. There was no reason to pick up those objects. They were just there and they didn't think about the interaction with them. It's a messy, messy game. For a lot of it, my compass was a rock. It's so buggy. I'm happy to see it go.
Okay. Brian, do you have any last words on Firewatch?
I haven't thought about it in a very long time, and I feel better about myself.
So it's me next.
Yeah.
I would like to cut VA-11 Hall-A.
Okay.
There's things I really like about that game. The soundtrack and atmosphere especially are great. I feel like if the writing was a little stronger and maybe less self-aware in a bad way, I think that game could have done much, much better. It's just, there's a few jokes in it that really, really just like don't land. And it seems like, for anyone who writes, you know when you do your first draft and there's just a bunch of things that don't really have much impact, that's what some of the jokes feel like. It just feels like it was wrote and then never rewritten. Beautiful game, some really lovely character designs, but I think this is as far as it goes.
Okay. Well, I guess then we're into our top 20.
Is that not number 22?
No, 21 for me.
It's 21.
21, okay. What was 22? Firewatch?
Yeah.
Firewatch, cool. Brian.
All right. Since neither of you seem super into it, let's say Doom.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I'm looking at all the other games here, and they're kind of more, like, you know, like to each of us, the rest of the games kind of like meant more. But it seemed like that you weren't either hot on Doom.
I feel like Doom gave me like 2 very good hours, and then I was done.
Because like Doom's going to be on plenty of other top 5 lists.
Oh, I think it's going to take some pretty significant Game of the Years.
Yeah, like I guarantee it's in the top 3 of Giant Bomb.
I was so disappointed with that game. I'm a really big Doom fan, and it's really fluid, amazing gameplay, but absolutely everything around it is so empty. It doesn't make you want to go back and play it.
I know we're in the vast minority there, but like I did spend a lot of time with it, and like I truly tried to, but there was just a point where it's like I got surface level enjoyment from playing it, and I never feel like going back to play it. So, I'm happy enough to cut that. What number is that for us?
That's 20, and that's a good number for that game.
20?
Yeah.
Sure.
See, I think at this point you end up kind of like going through the games you played,
Yeah.
or one that you didn't play but friends did, and they just didn't seem to be like as enthusiastic as you thought they'd be about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
definitely.
say Uncharted 4.
I'm not going to fight that.
Yeah, I think Uncharted 4 should be at 19.
Yeah.
I didn't play it. I've never played Uncharted. I literally got nothing to say about it. So this one's up to you guys.
Yeah,
It gave us, what was her name, Nadine, her arms,
yeah.
and the ability to play some Crash Bandicoot in what seemed like a movie situation.
So you're saying
it's
we
kinda
should
cool.
force it further down the list?
Possibly.
Aw. I think it's the second best Uncharted game. Like, my favorite is Uncharted 2. But then I'd rank Uncharted 4, and then maybe 3, and then the original Uncharted is probably like the weakest.
Okay, so that's me next. And I am going to go for Fire Emblem Fates. I think that series has already seen its due on this show. And Brian, you are a huge Fire Emblem fan, and you did not seem into this game.
Yeah, I'd like to see it go higher, but I'll let it go at 18. I'm not going to put up a fight for it. I'll fight other things, but I'm just going to, I'll calmly submit to being at level at number 18.
Where do you think that game like lost you?
The waifus just weren't as good.
Really?
That's a big issue because that's the core.
I guess that is a
Like,
huge
that is
charm of the
core.
game. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was super overwhelming. Like, even like the villain of the game, it's so fucking obvious. Like, because the way it's done is, like, I guess it's split across 3 games really if you buy the full thing. So that's Fire Emblem Conquest, Birthright, and Revelations. And you play a protagonist who is born into a family, and you're not sure which family you belong to. But so there's the kind of East Asian family, then there's the European family. But the European family has an evil king, and you're either gonna like live under the king and fight him, or else join an army that fights the king anyway. It didn't have like a good story.
I don't like that thing with like branching paths when it's like, what kind of good guy do you want to be?
Yeah,
And that's what that sounded like.
it really like it had smoke and mirrors in terms of a branching path, because it always has the same ending.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
I haven't finished the game yet, but I feel because I haven't finished the game, because I'm just not that into it like I was with Awakening.
That's disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
Brian.
Okay. Alright, like I'm looking at some of the AAA games. So, like, how do you feel about Mafia 3 and Watch Dogs 2 at the moment? Like, do either of them go into the top 10 list, or are they staying in the teens?
I think Watch Dogs 2 could go into the top 10 list.
But not Mafia 3?
But this is my problem. It's like I feel like they both share that spot nearly.
Right.
So one of them has to go, and I feel like I could argue for either one particularly well. And I think like the pros of each are the pros of each other, you know? They're very similar in what they do well and what they do badly.
So these are both games that I didn't give a shit about coming into this year, and I have not played either, but I have watched like a bunch of stuff on both of them, and
I've heard great things.
I'm really impressed
Yeah.
with both what they've done. Like for Mafia 3, it was just pure ambivalence. I just didn't care anything about that game, and I've seen so much stuff that I think's cool. With Watch Dogs 2, I actually came from a place where like I really hated Watch Dogs 1. Like I didn't play much of it. In fact, I only watched Brian play it a bit, and that game just looked like shit to me. It looked like everything bad about Ubisoft, and I'm very, very impressed that they could turn that game around. So I guess I'm not going to fight for either of them, but I'm also open to the possibility of cutting something else instead.
Okay.
How about Blues and Bullets? That's a like.
Yeah.
So
Like, it got really far.
yeah, that got like. I think it's great that Blues and Bullets got way further than Last Guardian.
So if you haven't played Blues and Bullets,
They got
you
further
should.
than Fire Emblem.
It's about €5 for like the first and second chapter of what seems to be a 4-chapter game, but it doesn't really matter. You should just play them now. They are ropey. The animation's pretty bad, but it is so self-serious. It's this noir, hard-boiled cop detective guy who's trying to... He finished up in the force and he just can't let that one case go. He does big eulogies, like big self-aggrandizing monologues, and the text appears up into the world and you walk through it while it's on fire, and then he's sitting on a throne of skulls at one stage. Like, it's so self-serious but in such a corny right way.
And like, from what I've seen of it, like, the graphics don't look amazing, but there's some great art direction.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
some bold shit.
It's all black and white, but red stands out.
Yeah.
So when you're a detective, you're trying to find, like, you're solving cases by putting all the pieces together. The red will, like, lead you there.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of good stuff going for it. It seems to be a really small studio, and I wish they had more time and resources, because I think it could be great.
Yeah.
So it's something that everyone, I think, should check out.
I have this downloaded on my PlayStation, and I'm very much looking forward to playing it over Christmas.
Like it's cool it kind of snuck its way up to
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, like, I think 17, that is a pretty fair place for that.
Yeah.
Would you let an Anatomy go?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I think, like, I would have probably let Anatomy go before Blues and Bullets, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But Anatomy is a horror game by indie developer Kitty Horror Show, and I really like Kitty Horror Show because, like, I guess when you start talking about, like, authorship in gaming, she exemplifies that. She has a very specific way of making games, and a lot of it's, like, incorporating the glitches of, like, technology into it. And in Anatomy, it's a really simple formula. It's like, there's a tape recorder in the kitchen, and you have to go around the house finding tapes. And it starts to tell this story of, like, a house that was abandoned, and it's not like the house is sentient. Like, it's not that simple a story, but it's just about, like, what happens when things get kind of forgotten, and, like, how, like, the concept of a house might react to that, and comparing it to the concept of a human. And they do really kind of frightening things, like start talking about how, like, the bedroom of a house is like the mouth and the basement is the subconscious, and it's really it really struck a chord with me, and, like, it is quite frightening. It's definitely one to play, like, by yourself. It's very cheap. I think it's like $3, and so, like, if you're a fan of horror, and it's like an hour and a half, it's not a time commitment, it's not a money commitment. Kitty Horror Show is really cool. I recommend this one, but I think I can't see it going any further.
Yeah, it's at, what is it, 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number. This is a great example of a game where it's like, what would a game look like made by one person on a micro budget? Like, is that possible? And it completely is. Like, if you're smart, and it's a fantastic example of that.
I really want to play that now. That sounds right up my alley.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think you really like
good.
it.
Yeah. Oh, we're fucking getting into it now.
Yeah, so we're into the 15 now.
Should we do a rundown of what came beforehand?
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we're at. Number 33 is The Bunker. 32 is Mighty Number 9. 31, Mitomo. 30, River City Tokyo Rumble.
Fuck that game.
29, The Division. 28, Tokyo Mirage. 27, Project Diva X. 26, Pokken Tournament. 25, Stardew Valley. 24, Pokemon Go. 23, The Last Guardian.
I'm very upset.
22, Firewatch. 21, Valhalla. 20, Doom. 19, Uncharted 4. 18, Fire Emblem. 17, Blues and Bullets. 16, Anatomy. So, what's number 15?
Number 15. Oh, okay. I think number 15 is Hitman. And I feel like, in a way, this is my fault because I should have been playing this game earlier on this year. And I've played about 6 or 7 hours of it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But if I get more into it, it's going to be one of my favorite games of the year. But right now, I just don't have that information, and there are other things that I decided to play instead of it, which I think is always kind of telling. I think this is a super good game. Like, I'm going to say what I keep saying. It's a great James Bond simulator. And first episode, €15. Absolutely check it out. It's such a well-made game, and there's so many cool things about it. I just don't quite have the confidence in it to let it go further than this.
Fair enough. All right, so that comes to me, and I'm going to return back to Mafia 3, Niamh. Would you be cool with it being at number 14? Or are there other games where you're like...
Yeah, no, I think I could let it go. Yeah.
Okay. Mafia 3, number 14.
Tell us about Mafia 3, Niamh.
I think Mafia 3 does a lot of things that other games should try and do. It's interesting that it's a historical period game, but it's a game that actually is trying to have a message, and whether you think it fulfills it or not, it still does it with its full weight behind it. Where you have something like Deus Ex, which is going to rank higher than it personally, it's using these kind of big social issues as basically flavor text and kind of hiding behind that. Mafia 3 does deal with stuff. It deals with race issues, it deals with crime, it deals with class, it deals with a lot of things you don't see tackled in games.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty special. It has a good few things gameplay wise that are annoying. It's really slow. It takes 7 to 8 hours to get into that.
Yeah, and I hear like it's like pretty long game.
Yeah.
Like, I think Aaron Signal did a pretty good video about it, and that's the one thing that actually really makes me not want to go near it, because I'd love if that was like 20-hour game.
It's disappointing because I think it's something that people should play, but it's got a very hard barrier to entry with that like time limit on it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful the amount of work they went into rendering stuff from that time period, like the old Playboy magazines, the old type of posters, the fashion, the cars, everything is really lovingly thought out and created in that world. So I'm sad to see it go, but I'm happy that it got that far, I guess.
The guy in it's really, really hot.
Oh my god,
He's
Lincoln
so
Clay
hot,
is so
yeah,
hot.
fucking hell.
Yeah. Like, it is worth acknowledging how hot he is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to just say this, like, we have a few other categories that I thought we could throw out, but like, best new character, best hot character, I think he needs a shout out somewhere there.
I think he should win best hot character.
Sure.
Like, he's a hot dude.
That is a slab of man.
Okay, Lincoln Clay is the best hot character from 2016.
Yeah. Like, fuck yeah.
You know, fair play. That's like that's a good award to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I guess we're still on Univ because that was me who called Mafia 3.
Okay. Where are you with Street Fighter versus Guilty Gear?
Without getting into that too much, I think that's probably going to be a war for a little later.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love Guilty Gear.
That's interesting. Fury?
Yeah, John.
I think Fury should go further. I think that is a special game.
But there can only be so many special
Yeah.
games, John.
The three of us have played it, and you're the only one who kind of agrees with that sentiment. Like, I like it.
I mean,
I got better at it, but I still... There's only so much.
okay. What about Kirby Planet Robo?
Nope.
Yeah, no. It's Kirby in a mech, John.
God. Oh.
I want to talk about that game in a while. That game's good.
Okay, I can let Fury go, but it is only going to strengthen my resolves for battles later.
Oh, wait. I just want to... Is Yokai Watch 2 on this list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
because that would be the only other one I could point to. But if you guys really think Fury should go,
what makes Fury better than Yokai Watch?
well, that's not fair.
Yeah, because Yokai Watch is Jib and Yan.
Fury is the spiritual successor of No More Heroes. It's like the boss rush game, and it has like some of the best, intense, most fun fights I've had the entire year. Now, I know a lot of that's really specific to me. I think it should get more credit than it does for being weird and different. Like, I think the stuff it does do is really cool. The bosses you do fight are really cool. It's cool to just see a diverse cast, and it's not a thing. It's just there, you know. Like,
you know what my issue is with it? It isn't the difficulty, which is a big barrier for entry as well. Like, it is quite hard. If you're not used to that game, it's this thing where you are just fighting bosses. There is no mid-level, mid-tier people. So I felt I wanted that nearly. I wanted to see the world through the combat and explore it that way. Because you would get to an area, then you would have your boss fight, then you would move on till you got to the... Like, it's nearly like One Punch Man and its inevitability.
yeah.
Where there wasn't a lot of stuff in between that. And I know it's not meant to, but that didn't work for me.
Okay, well, like, if you guys are that unenthusiastic about it, I can let it go. Can I tell one or two cool things that game does?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So, one of the bits that really got me is, like, you are, like, breaking out of this giant space prison, and, like, every layer is, like, a new layer, and there's a new boss for you to fight, and, like, they get tougher, and they get, like, really, like, dangerous and strong, and it's really cool, and, like, the second last fight is this incredibly difficult samurai fight, and I must have played this guy, like, no joke, like 50 times before I beat him. It was so hard. And then the last boss before you break out of the prison is this little Eskimo girl, and she's shit. She's not a good, like, she can't really fight very well. She sets up traps for you and stuff, but she's not a fighter, because at that point you've killed all the planet's, like, best warriors, and it's really sad. Like, you feel bad fighting her, but it was like a really powerful, cool moment. And it's stuff like that that makes this game rank so highly on my personal list, but I'm okay with letting it go at this point. So Fury is the... What number are we?
14.
14. Oh, that hurts, but I get it. It's fair.
That's pretty good.
That's 13.
Oh, is it 13?
13,
Okay.
yeah.
What was 14?
Mafia 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in that game.
Is it my go?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I think it was your go, Neve.
Yes,
That's
it's
my
John's
go.
go.
Yeah, we're kind of feeding into each other. Okay.
Yep. So I'm gonna go with... I hate doing this. But I think I gotta let It Die go.
Okay.
Okay.
Neve, you played some Let It Die.
Yeah, I did. I really like it. It's really fun.
It's so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's when you heal yourself with mushrooms, you do yoga pose. I thought that was really fun. Like,
and you do different yoga poses every time.
It's got some weird, quirky charms to it that, like, just makes you happy while you're going through the game world.
Yeah.
But then that camera
Yeah.
is pretty awful.
It's terrible. And even, like, the levels are a little bland, the level design.
Mm-hmm.
And the gameplay is janky on a level that I really appreciate, but I could see annoying people. I think it's a really cool game. Like, it's my favorite Suda 51 game since No More Heroes, you know? No More Heroes 2 at least. And it's... Every time I sit down with it, I'm like, man, this game is fucking fun and charming. But there are certain gameplay stuff that I think hold it back a lot.
How do you feel about the free-to-play
I haven't
aspect?
bumped up against it.
Okay.
Like, I haven't... Like, I'm going to put money into this game because I want to be like, good job, Suda, you did it again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I have not had any need to. Like, and I'm like 6 or 7 hours in.
Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
So I kind of forgot to mention Yokai Watch 2 properly, but if that's the case, we're actually one game extra than we should be in our top list.
Ah, okay.
So I know we wrote number 12 for Let It Die, but technically Let It Die would be now 13.
Okay. You know, that's a fine number for that game.
Yeah, I think 13 suits a Suda 51 game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a free to play game nearly got into our top 10. That's something.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, number 12 should be OK Watch 2.
Okay.
It doesn't make it into the top 10, unfortunately, but I do want to just talk about Yokai Watch in general and Level 5 games. So Level 5 games is run by, well, there's the CEO of the company is a guy called Akihiro Hino, and he's in charge of Level 5, and he makes all the games there pretty much. Like, he developed Yokai Watch, like co-developed Professor Layton. He also would have done Dark Cloud on the PlayStation 2.
No way. Oh my god.
But they have pretty much like a second party relationship with Nintendo. Someday this guy is going to be the CEO of Nintendo.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
You calling it?
Yeah. If it worked out for Iwata, because he was an outsider, it can work for Hino. This guy has it. Like, he's a businessman and also like a dreamer.
That's what Nintendo needs.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, from what I've seen in Yokai Watch 2, I really want to play that game. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a nice alternative to Pokemon.
Neve, we're right at the gate of top 10.
Final Fantasy 15.
There was part of me that thought that game could go really far, but hearing what you've said about it, and I guess I feel like I'm on the cusp of really liking that game or not being interested, and I don't know which way it's going to flip, and I want it to go, but I guess when I compare it to everything else on this list, I don't see it going any further. And Brian, you don't sound like you're going to fight for it.
I've seen the ending of that game. It's taking the piss.
It's really weird as a fan of the series because it has some moments that feel so Final Fantasy. The little sprites in the option menu, like just the battle system as well. Like when you can pause to do your potions and stuff. Even giving that brief pause makes it feel a little Final Fantasy. Yes, there's all those nice things in there, but then the world is so broken. The world is empty and boring. You have to do so much grinding at the start of it.
And I think the patching in plot stuff,
yeah,
that pisses me off.
That pisses me off as well. Like I'm like 20, like nearly 30 hours in now, and it's like I don't feel I've gotten plot yet. I don't really know what's happening, and the stuff I have seen, like Noctis, I had a cutscene where Noctis was asleep, and then cutscene just happens. That cutscene that I saw was one they used as marketing material. And it didn't feel like it was telling me a story. It didn't seem like a dream. It just felt like someone played a video and cut it in there. Like, it's just... I don't understand where the scoring a lot of sites are giving this game is coming from.
Because it's not terrible.
Yeah, but I think that's like, oh, we want this old Final Fantasy back. And this isn't awful. But I don't think it's better than 13.
I think it's so much better than 13.
John, wait until you get further. Wait until you do 20 hours of grinding.
Okay.
Find more stones for Dino.
If I'm about like 3 or 4 hours in, if it gets terrible immediately, then it will have given me 3 or 4 hours more pleasure than 13 ever did.
No, the first 3 hours of Final Fantasy 15 is the best 3 hours of Final Fantasy 15. 13, as what you can say about it, has at least a persistent world where background characters are designed to match their environments. They have really nice environmentally rendered stuff.
I feel like with 13, all that stuff, and like we're getting way outside the scope of this conversation, it's beautiful design and it's completely unrelatable in any... There is no human touch to 13.
But that's what's in 15 as well. There is no human touch.
Diners! I sat down with a gross-looking bird statue and that Kingdom Hearts
You'll see
guy.
that diner again and again and again and again, and then you'll notice that the person behind the bar hasn't a character design or anything. He's just an NPC dropped in there. It's so shallow.
I can still relate to that world more than 13. But anyway, look.
Okay.
That's
Anyway,
a conversation
it's
for
done.
another time.
Okay.
It's 11.
Do you know, I was so curious to where that could place. Like, I was really like, is this... But 11... Yeah, I like when you... Man, it is a strong top 10 this year.
Okay, so We have a top 10 in no particular order. It is Hyper Light Drifter, Dark Souls 3, Overwatch, Kirby Planet Robobot, Watch Dogs 2, Inside, Deus Ex, Bravely Second, Street Fighter 5, Guilty Gear Xrd, Revelator.
Yes. So it's my turn to eliminate?
Yeah, your
Yeah.
turn. Top 10.
I think the 10th best game this year is Bravely Second.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to talk about it?
I think Bravely Second is really, really... It's an incredible game in a lot of ways. The story is really fun, the characters are fun, the designs are beautiful, the battle system is so clever. It fixes so much of the busted shit with the JRPG genre. Like, I think if you have fallen out of JRPGs, this is totally one you will get back into. I think one place where it gets lets down is like the story is charming, the story isn't compelling. Like, I don't really care that much about what happens, which turns it into this kind of like little JRPG pill I take every couple of weeks. That's where I am with it, you know? And I think it's a really, really good game, but I guess with a little, like, it's like masterful without like the core driving heart, you know? Like, I feel like all the best JRPGs, there's something driving you forward, like something important. And I feel like, there is plot justification of why you're doing the things you're doing, but it nearly feels like 1,000 tiny things done right in isolation as opposed to like one giant big whole, if that makes sense.
That's sad to hear because I would describe the first game as such an opposite thing. It's such a tight package. Everything works so well in it. And it sounds like this is more of the same in terms of it looks great, it plays great, but the story is weaker.
Yes, that's it, I think. And it's like that thing where it does all work so well in isolation, but unlike the first one, like what you're saying, I feel like it doesn't hit that last 1% where it all flows seamlessly. It all clicks
together,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, number 10.
Number 10, Bravely Second.
Okay. We're on to me. Now, Eve, how much do you like Watch Dogs 2?
More than John likes Street Fighter 5.
Impossible.
Street Fighter 5 cannot go further.
It's going further.
I'll let it go a little bit further.
Okay, I'm willing to give up Watch Dogs 2.
Okay.
Is Watch Dogs 2 worse than Kirby Planet Robot? Because, Brian, I haven't heard you talk about that game.
It's the best 3DS game I played this year.
That makes it sound like it might be the number 9 best game this year.
No. I think Kirby should be one level above Watch Dogs 2.
In Watch Dogs, you get to go to the Google headquarters and they have a slide in there, which is really obnoxious, but there's an obnoxious asshole who's a racist and you get to like put him on blast and it's really good. And you get to pet dogs.
Like, I haven't heard much about Planet Robo, and it seems like a super fun time. It seems like a cool thing, but it seems like another cool Kirby game where it's not doing anything amazing different.
What I found amazing and different about it was it's a pretty easy platformer, but the final boss battle is really fucking difficult, and it completely caught me off guard, and it stressed me out. And I know we're all a big fan of very tricky but rewarding boss battles, and for a Kirby game to have this at the final, the final stage of the game was fantastic.
I still feel like I'd back Watch Dogs 2, because the first Watch Dogs was so terrible, and so useless and so nothing. I feel like
I'm surprised how fond I feel for it.
Yeah, and like the characters, people like them, and like it's got a bunch of even listening to Austin Walker talk about like these people talk like actual black people. That's cool. Like they actually did the legwork to get it there. And I just don't know if I guess I'm just not seeing it with Kirby Robo. Like, I get that you love Kirby.
Yeah.
And he means that little guy means a lot to you personally.
But like Kirby's still making good games.
Absolutely, and
25 years later.
Yeah, and like I think Kirby's fucking awesome. I think Kirby is one of the most underrated like Nintendo properties out there. But I think he is the 8th best game this year.
So then, is it Watch Dogs 2 is 9 and Kirby's 8?
No, sorry, 9th best game this year.
The only way I'd be willing to accept that is if you calm down about Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
No.
What?
I don't see how Street Fighter 5 comes into this conversation. Like, we can talk about it after this.
Because if you're talking about personal games,
Yeah. Watch Dogs 2 is a really tight package. Kirby sounds like that too. Street Fighter 4 was a...
Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 5?
Street Fighter 5 was a cake delivered to you that was turned over in the box and you still had fun because it's cake.
But it wasn't a nicely presented
Yeah.
cake.
But I mean, like, the story mode's in there now. The challenge stuff is in there. Like, there's... Like, if you're talking about, like, the game... Like, I get it should lose points for the botched launch. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it should be disqualified from being considered because of that.
But what about it as a consumer product where people bought this and people have traded that in? That player base has dropped out because they...
I still can get a
Rushed
match... Don't, like,
Yeah, there's
instantly.
a load of weirdos like you, but there isn't loads and loads of weirdos.
Like, okay, but... Like, I'll talk about that, but I don't see how that comes into Watch Dogs. Unless you're saying that it should go now.
No, I'm talking about in relation to Kirby,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
like being personal about a game.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with that.
Because like I have zero love for Street
But
Fighter 5.
I have like praised, like I've not always talked a lot of the downside of Street Fighter 5. I have also talked about it a whole bunch. Like, you guys know how much time I have put into this game and how much like I value it.
If
I haven't heard the
Armika-
same, and like I've heard that.
Yeah.
What?
If Armika wasn't a playable character.
Well, then it wouldn't have made the top 20. Look, I don't think the conversation is like Kirby versus like Kirby or the Street Fighter versus Planet Robot or Watch Dogs 2. Like, if you want to have that conversation, then I think Guilty Gear Xrd should be the one to go next.
Fuck no.
Brian, Guilty Gear Xrd is a really good game. I love it. In fact, it was my 2013 number 2 game of the year. This is an expansion pack for that. It does not beat out the full title Street Fighter 5.
But we didn't get to play Guilty Gear Xrd signed properly.
I did. I played the shit out of that game.
But we didn't have the good DLC characters because it had a botched European release. We have to talk about it in those terms as well.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's still like it's an expansion pack for a game, and the DLC characters are cool.
But they're like the best characters
I
in
don't
that
think
game.
they push it. They are totally, but I don't think they push it past Watch Dogs 2 or Kirby Planet Robo. Like, I think Guilty Gear Revelator should be the one to go.
yeah,
No
it's
way.
kind of a stretch for being like it is a 2016 full release.
Like, it's a fucking awesome game, and I think if that game had never come out before and came out this year, like, I might maybe rank it higher than Street Fighter 5.
No way.
But I mean, that's to say that like Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator is a more significant game to Street Fighter 5 is crazy to me.
It's my favorite fighter of this year.
Fine.
Well, shit.
Yeah. And that's what you're saying about Street Fighter 5. It's your favorite fighter of this year.
No, I'm saying Street Fighter 5 is like one of my favorite games this year.
But then so is Guilty Gear. It's in
How many hours Guilty Gear did you play, Brian?
about 20.
I bet you did not. I bet we could turn on that console right now and check.
I'd say that I played about 20. See, this is tough.
This is tough.
But I think we could like I don't think this is Guilty Gear us saying it is a number 9 game. I'd saying this expansion pack for a really like top 5 game
Yeah.
in that stage gets in the top 10 of our game of the year.
Okay.
Which is really impressive.
You
Like again, like in 2013, Guilty Gear Xrd was my number 2 game of the year. I switched it with Bayonetta for my number 1 at the last second because I just fell in love with Bayonetta 2. But I can't justify letting that game go much further.
Okay, how about Guilty Gear at 9, Watch Dogs 2 at 8, Kirby at 7?
I mean, yeah, I could do it. I think
Because, like, if you want to factor in personal enjoyment, like a personal emotional reaction to a game, then Kirby gets that from me.
Yeah.
Okay, I have
Because Watch Dogs 2
I have
do
one
that.
more thing we can throw in the fire here.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about Inside.
Nope.
Inside is a game with great ideas, and I think part of that game's design is bad.
Really?
Yes.
What part?
The way that game is you want to find out what's happening in that world, right?
Yeah.
And you keep dying over and over and over, and it gets in the way of that. I don't think the core game design of Inside is sound. I think it should either be a hard platformer or a narrative platformer, and it tries to do both, and it fails.
I found some of the deaths were part of the context for it.
I don't know, I just felt like there was a few sections where it was like, I was dying. I hate the fact that, like, you have to die. Like, it just doesn't fit in with that for me.
But
Now, I'd put it ahead of Kirby's Planet Robo. I don't know, I'd put it ahead of Watch Dogs 2. But, like, for me, like, if you want to talk about, like, games that I was not invested in, that was one. And I know you were invested in it, but that's the conversation we're having about Street Fighter 5 also.
I'd put Inside above Kirby Robobot.
Okay.
Okay, how about Guilty Gear 9?
Okay,
I'll let
Guilty
that
Gear
go
9.
anyway. Okay. And so then number 8.
So Guilty Gear 9.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic game. If you like fighting games, you should totally play that. If you like anime, you should totally play it. It looks fucking incredible. But it is an expansion pack, and I really think that's the only thing holding it back, you know?
Okay, but then number 8. Like...
See, Kirby Planet is the extra spice onto a really good Kirby pie.
Okay.
Stay with me with the food metaphors.
I'll push Inside more if it can go further than Kirby. So I'll put Kirby at
Okay.
number 8. And then Watch Dogs at 7. And that's as far as Watch Dogs can go.
Really?
Like, Neve, we haven't really heard your argument for, like...
Okay, my argument for Watch Dogs is the original Watch Dogs one starred Aiden Pierce, white bread in a hat and a trench coat, who was the most self-serious person. It was such a game character that someone designed and went, yes, this is what's cool. And it sucked. It was awful. I had to play him as a serial killer to get any enjoyment out of that entire game. The same studio decided to make the sequel to that game be about a group of 20-somethings living in a city that is being completely gentrified. There's black characters, there's an autistic character, there's protesting through
I think
through
there's
art
a
and
pretty
creativity.
significant trans character too.
Yeah, there is. There's it shows the diversity of the world, and it is giving us a really realistic, real world. Like, you believe it in it. And that's kind of amazing just to play. It's like when you first play like a Grand Theft Auto and something, you're like, this world is alive and you can feel it kind of pulsing. And with Watch Dogs 2, you can feel that out of the world and the characters. Where I'm kind of torn is I'm getting... Like, the gameplay is where I'm torn up with it.
Yeah.
I find it hard to justify some of the gameplay, not even from just an aspect of, like, you're this kind of peace-loving character, but you have to kind of kill more or less. But it kind of gets boring. Like, it's a bit repetitive. You get to a section, there's a red box around it, and then you have to stealth it in, and if you don't, you have to engage. You know, it's the same thing over. You're using drones, but you're, like, it's rinse and repeat. You're doing constantly. So it's a very dual game for me. There's a lot of really great aspects to it, and I think it's amazing that they came from Watch Dogs 1 to this.
How far do you think this game should go?
I don't think it goes in the top 5. No, I don't. Like, I totally don't. I'm kind of, I see it somewhere either 8 or 7, I guess. I can let it go if you really think Kirby Planet should go before it.
No. Kirby should be 8. Watch Dogs 2 should be 7.
Okay.
Because I'm going to push Inside a little bit further.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
So Kirby 8.
Yep. Watch Dogs 2, 7.
Watch Dogs 2 is like fun. Like, you doing a selfie, there's a bickering couple on the street and you're doing a selfie and they're like, the AI kicks in and they're just like, hey, what are you doing? You know, it's...
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Totally.
Like, you're going to have a fun time with that game.
Yeah, no, like, I think... I could nearly see Watch Dogs 2 go further, because I think from what I've seen in that game, I don't necessarily think it's for me, but like, I really think it's impressive how they learned from their mistakes in Watch Dogs 1 and turned it around completely. And even right up until pre-release, I was like, that game looks terrible. And then the stuff I saw, it was like, they're really fucking trying with this, and they're trying in the best possible ways. So now it is number 6.
Yeah.
So look, there's an argument I need to make for the number 6 spot, and I don't think you two are going to agree with this, but just hear me out, okay?
Okay.
I think the number 6 best game this year is Dark Souls 3.
I agree. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I have been prepping this argument for months.
That's just Dark Souls. Don't worry about it.
But that's the thing. It's possibly, like, objectively the best Dark Souls game. And, like, I really liked a lot of it. But there was parts towards the end of the game where I was not enjoying it. I was just like, I have done this same thing what feels like every year for the last 5 years, and I was sick of it, and it's not as good as Bloodborne.
No, it's not.
No. And I like Dark Souls 1 a lot better. Like, I think the fiction in Dark Souls 1's a lot better. And this just felt a little tired in some places, and it's an exceptional game. Like, it would have to be to make it this far.
I really love this game, but it's because it's the first one I ever played.
Yeah.
You know, so the Dark Souls magic was completely new to me.
Yeah.
But I'm also aware that it's the third in a franchise of a very similar thing, you know, and Bloodborne as well. So I'm totally okay with it.
Some of the set pieces and locations of this game are fantastic. I loved Undead Settlement. Thought that was fucking cool.
Undead Settlement was brilliant.
Such a great idea.
But
then as soon as you get into the dungeons and it's just skeletons and caves, that's where it kind of lost me.
yeah, there was too much of that shit, and there's one or two really, really uninteresting environments in there.
But then afterwards you get to Ithriel of the Boreal Valley, which is the very decadent ice snowy town. I thought that was a great location again.
Yeah.
But it just seemed to have kind of ups and downs to it. It wasn't it wasn't balanced enough in terms of kind of locations and enemies you fight.
Like, do you guys know how many sewer skeletons I fought in Dark Souls? You know, like, just that shit pisses me off.
Yeah.
And I think it's much better than Dark Souls 2, but I don't think it's as good as Bloodborne, and I have much fonder memories of Dark Souls 3 because that was the magic for me.
Yeah, I think 6 is a great number, and you always look at the top 5, but then at the same time you always look at what was number 6 outside the ring of the top 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dark Souls 3 is...
Dark Souls 3 is our Splatoon award this year.
For sure.
Yeah. So, look, I don't really think Street Fighter 5 should go higher than 5. But I also don't think Inside is a very good game.
Without going into spoilers, did you like the final part of that game?
The final part of Inside is what took it from a 6 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, because that was
fucking brilliant.
That's
like
fucking
that
cool.
is one of the best moments of the entire year for sure.
Do you know before that happens, there's a diorama that you smash through? It's fucking weird. Like, if you go watch YouTube videos explaining that ending, like, it's awful.
Really? Because I watched Nightmine's video on it, and I felt like I'd kind of gotten everything. There wasn't that much going on in the game.
No, there's it's all a test.
Okay, I think we should. I think we have to talk about the spoilers in this,
Okay.
and I think if you are worried about spoilers right now, look in the description of this podcast, or even just skip forward a minute or two, and we'll put like a time code.
Okay, so in Inside, you're playing as a boy who's running away from G-Men, like a government dystopian future.
Yeah.
And you progress from a forest more into a fascist cityscape.
Yeah.
And it's a puzzle platformer. And as you get to the very end of the game, you go into a scientist laboratory, and they have a big giant tanker, and they're all peering through it. And you go around the other side of that tanker, go into it, and there is a mass of humans who have morphed into a ball. And you...
Picture like Tetsuo from Akira.
Yeah, and you go near it, and all of a sudden you get sucked into the ball, and you are controlling the ball of humans. And it makes the most disgusting, like, wet, fleshy sounds as it bursts through the tanker, and everyone runs away screaming from it.
And then there's like 30 minutes left of the game where you control this monster. And rather than like running away from the guards, all of a sudden you're like actively bashing through the walls, killing them. Like the tone of the game changes completely.
And all the people that were chasing you because you were a small boy are now frightened of you because you were just this disgusting, like, giant human tumor.
And the animation on that thing, the way that thing controls, is so amazing.
It's cool because you don't turn it left or right because it doesn't have like a front or a back. It just it goes wherever it goes.
Yeah.
But if you take a step outside this game, there's a bit where you smash through a diorama of a coastline with a sunbeam pushing through at the edge of a lake, and that's how the game ends.
Wait, is that a diorama?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
People are planning the ending of the game, so you see the ending of the game before it actually happens because it's all part of the test.
Is this some guy's theory, or is this like developer?
But was that not just a model of the building?
Yeah.
No, it was a model of the ending.
But how do you know that's the intention of the creators?
It's just like because it is a perfect recreation of the final shot of that game, but it hints at it earlier on in the game, and it's just super weird that they know exactly where you're going to end the game in advance. This group of I guess scientists and
I guess just
high level government people.
That doesn't gel with how many people you kill then.
I think they're all just ants.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of idea.
I thought Inside was cool, but I was quite bored for a lot of that game.
Yeah.
I felt like the opening half an hour was amazing, especially like, the mind control pig and all that kind of stuff. It's all this like really inventive imagery. I love going through the farming stuff, and then I feel like you're going through warehouses for the rest of the game until you get to the offices. And
did you like the bit where you have to like queue up with a bunch of mind control people and you have to jump in the box?
That was cool. That was really cool.
I really like that. And like the first time I didn't know to jump and they just shoot you on the spot. And it's like, oh.
But those are some of the best bits of the game. But I found like there was all these bits where it's like you'd be walking forward and then you're dead. You're just dead. And you get warped back like 10 seconds. But it didn't add to... I felt like the pull of that game was like, I wanted like, where is this going? Like, what am I going to discover by the end of this game? But...
I like that discovery though.
No, the discovery was great, but the thing was like I kept feeling like the depths of the game kept pushing against that, and it like with Limbo, there is not enough in Limbo to make me feel like, oh, there's going to be some revelation at the end of this game. Limbo was a platformer, and so the depths felt appropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In Inside, I feel like there's this intrigue of what is the actual plot. And then the death stuff only takes away from that. Like, I feel like Inside would be a better game if it was an hour and a half long and you could avoid the deaths. And it's not a difficulty thing, because Inside isn't hard. Like, you'll beat it. It's more just like, I don't think the game design in that is sound. And it's a really core criticism, but that would be why I don't think it should go further than number 5.
Okay.
I think that's a really good reason. I think it kind of makes me want to play the game and have that in mind. It's like, it's a really interesting thing to look at a game like that and kind of see the depths or the integral gameplay kind of hampering its message nearly.
Like with Dark Souls, any Dark Souls game, if you want to get into the story, that's your choice. But I feel like you're playing Inside to see that world and that story, and the deaths fuck that up.
Cool.
I do like the deaths when an enemy character gets you, because they are contextual, because the government men are trying to kill you, but they're trying to prevent something. But I think when you die from falling from a height, that's slightly different.
So that is that 5 or 6?
That's 5.
5. So Inside is the 5th best game this year.
Yeah, I'm glad it's in the top 5. Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5. It does not go further than this. I love that game. I really do. Like, this was the only game that had me like punching the air with delight and just being like, oh my god, like some of the best matches in fighting games I have ever had are from Street Fighter 5. For the most part, the character models look great, the animation's spectacular, the backgrounds are great. It's just such a shame that the launch was botched like it was, and I wish this was the universe where Street Fighter 5 was everything I feel like it could have been. But it does not go higher than 4. Like, especially when I look at what we have left.
We have 3 left. I see them here.
Yep. But it's a great game. I'll be playing it well into 2017. But yeah, it doesn't go higher than 4. So with that, we're into our top 3 games.
Do we want to say all 3 of them,
I think, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so in no particular order, again, we have Hyper Light Drifter, Overwatch, and Deus Ex.
Is it my go?
Yeah.
Deus Ex.
Okay.
I am so shocked it got this far.
It snuck in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it's before Inside.
Yeah. I'm shocked it got this far.
I really enjoy that game though. That is like, if you want the Western take of what a Metal Gear game kind of is, or at least someone trying to attempt it, that's what Deus Ex is. If you like stealth gameplay, but you like kind of humor in the gameplay and the world, Deus Ex is a really good game to play. I don't like it as much as the last game because its story is weaker, and because they market it around this idea of this kind of war between people who are augmented and people who aren't. That doesn't feel relevant a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's happening in the world around you, but to you, Adam Jensen, fully cybernetic pretty much, it doesn't matter. Like, when the guards treat you like crap, you show them your papers because you're like really high
Yeah.
official, and they're like, oh, okay, so it doesn't affect you, but it's happening there. It's a weird decision they chose.
To be honest, like, the only thing with Deus Ex, the reason I haven't gone for it sooner is just because, well, like, I know you were super into it, Neve, but I felt like none of its flaws are lethal. Mm-hmm. I felt like Inside had a lethal flaw. I felt like Street Fighter V had a lethal flaw. Deus Ex kind of doesn't. Like, that stuff really pisses me off, but I don't think it should get disqualified because of it.
It's disappointing, but they fixed all the gameplay issues with the first game. They're going to be doing the new Tomb Raider game. It's this team.
Sweet.
Which I am so interested in, because, like, maybe a criticism with Tomb Raider you could say is that she is, like, murder Lara.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to have a game that a team specializes in giving you kind of choice to go through the world, like through like hacking or stealth or like killing, and see that be applied to someone like Lara. So I'm kind of like, I love their approach to gameplay and just giving you that choice. And multiple times this year, like with Mafia or Watch Dogs or Final Fantasy, I kind of wish I had that choice that game gave me.
Sure.
So it has a lot of positives. I'm happy to see it so high.
Okay. And then the only decision left is, what is the Let's Fight a Boss 2016 Game of the Year? Is it Hyper Light Drifter or is it Overwatch?
No, they are both
The most different games you could imagine.
But it makes sense that they're both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They represent like two very, very positive sides of gaming, and that is like a fantastic AAA game or like an indie underdog that just fucking nails it.
So I would like to throw my vote in here. I think our Game of the Year should be Overwatch.
I'm going to have to say Hyper Light Drifter because someone has to say Hyper Light Drifter.
I'm saying it's Overwatch as well.
Okay.
I completely understand why Hyper Light Drifter is here.
Yeah.
Brian, make a case. Like, I'm wearing a Hyper Light Drifter t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell me on this.
Okay. Dark Souls 3 should be at number 6. I think Hyper Light Drifter should be at number 1. They're such similar games. Hyper Light Drifter borrows a lot from Software.
I think Hyper Light Drifter is in some ways a better Dark Souls game than Dark Souls 3.
It also evokes the top-down of a 2D Zelda, like A Link to the Past. It's one of those games, and I think as a creative you look at it and you go, wow,
Yeah.
they like the fucking colors and shape choices.
Sorry, full disclosure here. Me and Brian were backers on the Kickstarter. You were a backer?
Yeah.
We were backers on the Kickstarter, just to put that out there.
Like, it's fucking crazy that between this and Mighty Number 9 coming out around the same time, just the vast difference.
Yeah, totally.
And seeing one that looks like a student film and the other one look like a fucking Denis Villeneuve film, just looks amazing.
Yeah, I think Hyper Light Drifter has everything you want. Like, it's beautiful. It plays so well. Like,
the game's like 6 hours long as
and
well.
It's incredible. Like, every minute of it's enjoyable. Every boss battle is good. Every enemy is like a cool design.
And it's one of those games where, like, if you die because of a mistake you made.
Yeah,
it's
way to
never,
rush it, dummy.
It's never the game's fault.
Yeah. It has heart as well. Like, I think the story that games tells, and even some of the characters you meet, some of the characters with their like little 3-panel comics I remember them better than like, you know, RPG characters with like reams and reams of dialogue, you know?
Yeah.
Like I remember like the priest who got kicked out of his temple. I remember like the dog guy whose whole village was genocided, you know? Like that stuff is so cool and it's such a good game.
But then let's talk about Overwatch.
Overwatch is this force in gaming that it's really interesting because it is a collaboration with the players. Like I really honestly feel that they kind of put these blank template characters out there. They're designed to the highest degree and they're like really beautiful models. The gameplay is amazing. I think we'll go into all that separately. But they give a template for fans to latch onto, create an entire culture around these characters that then they reinforce through like the comics, through like the events, just at panels at BlizzCon. They really, really work with the fans nearly to make Overwatch what it is. And that's kind of amazing.
So there's two reasons why I think Overwatch should be Game of the Year. Mm-hmm. For one, Overwatch is a team shooter. Like, it is a first-person team shooter, and I give a shit about it. I really, really give a shit about it. I like those I like those characters. I like those. I like the gameplay. I like playing with people. It's really fun to play with friends. But I feel like Overwatch has done such incredible things for gaming. Like, I was selling at a con. I sang some prints at a con earlier this year, and the amount of like, you know, young girls who were super into Overwatch, and I just like have a regular gaming conversation with them about it. It was incredible. Like they have made a game,
common ground
for everyone, and you know, usually that's a bad thing. But like, I love Overwatch. Like teenagers just getting into games love Overwatch, and I feel like a lot of the values this podcast has, Overwatch fulfills them. You know, like, and like, it's inclusive, it's really well designed, it's like, you know, meticulously visually crafted. I think it's an amazing game, and honestly, it's not my favorite game on the list. In fact, I think if I divided up our top 10, I don't know that Overwatch would make my top 5, but I think for gaming and for this podcast, it is an important enough game that it does that. And like, a lot of that is just, I think it goes so much more beyond just being a first-person team shooter. Like, I think it is something that's kind of culturally important.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's definitely one of those games where if we as a whole had to recommend a game and we didn't know what you'd like, Overwatch is the one.
Yeah.
Because chances are you're going to love it.
Yeah, totally. And like, my favorite documentaries, they're always ones where you like go in thinking one thing and you go out thinking another. Like that documentary Hot Coffee. And that to me is what Overwatch is. It's like, I wasn't expecting to like that game at all, and it completely turned me around, and I think it's completely turned so many people around, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I think it's the Game of the Year.
Yeah, like it is a cultural phenomenon. It is like how you would describe a Pixar movie, but as a game. It's just super relatable.
There's going to be so many copycats for so many years,
Yep.
but I don't think any of them, I don't think people should try. I think Overwatch has this covered now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to grow as long as Blizzard wants it to grow for.
What a well-maintained game.
Yeah. And like, the game itself plays fantastically.
Oh my god, like as a shooter, it's tight.
But we know people who like have not touched a first-person shooter ever, and they're like fiends now at Overwatch.
Yeah. Fits like a glove.
Yep. I think that's kind of the decision. Like, I think,
yeah.
Unless Brian, like,
no.
Okay.
I don't own Overwatch, but I've played a fair amount of it, and I see it on my Tumblr dashboard every day, and I'm not annoyed by it. Even though I I don't own the game, I'm just like, there it is.
Yep.
It's very endearing. I feel like it's going to be part of the gaming landscape for so many years to come. Like, cons are going to be populated by prints and cosplayers.
Just the amount of people it's probably responsible for getting into gaming.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is the 2016 Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year podcast.
I feel in the middle there was a lot of scratching and fighting. Bit of biting too. But just to see us all kind of super chill at the very end of this, and very accepting.
Now we can all go home and relax. Or can we? maybe there's one more award we need to give.
Oh shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Let's Fight a Boss Galactic Champion of Hopes and Dreams. It's the 2015 Game of the Year Metal Gear Solid 5 versus the 2016 Game of the Year Overwatch.
What? So we're just comparing two games.
We have one Galactic Champion and it's one of these two games. The next time we argue over this will be in 2017. Which is the ultimate Let's Fight a Boss best game of all time?
Between Phantom Pain and Overwatch.
Those are the only two.
I'd have to go with Phantom Pain. You can't even.
I am so torn with that because
This is so mean as well.
yeah, it's like let Overwatch enjoy its time. I think I would probably go with Phantom Pain. Well, I don't know. I think that's so hard to call. I think
It's impossible to
Yeah.
call. That's the kind of fun thing about it.
It's so objective.
yeah, it's so objective.
I don't know. I feel like they're both things that have left a massive mark on the games industry.
I went back and played Phantom Pain again this year because I like that game. Like, that means something, doesn't it?
Overwatch is going to stay on my console as something you just put on and
Yep.
you can play every day.
Yeah.
And like every character is a new game. Like it is literally a new way to play. I don't know, and it's crazy because you're just like pushing payloads or taking like there isn't a lot of variety within it.
Like I usually
But
play
it's
Overwatch
amazing.
for like 45 minutes and I'm done. But then I play again the next day and the next day and the next day.
Yeah. But Phantom Pain played so fucking well. And there were so many different ways you could infiltrate or rescue someone.
I really appreciate that.
And people complain that there wasn't enough cutscenes and sparse story. I went back and read the wiki entry. There's a lot of story in that game.
I think it's two very different parts of why we like gaming.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
one has no story and one has a big fucking story.
And one is like Metal Gear is kind of niche. Like that is a hard game to try and get someone into. Like maybe like if you're a gamer you might be into it, but like Overwatch kind of was this equal playing field for a lot of people. So it's very different perspectives.
I feel like what it comes down to here is which do we value more? Like the fucked up, flawed, autorial like masterpiece or the super tight, all-inclusive game for everyone. Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I think then that will make me say
I think
that's
I'm gonna.
so different. Two parts of like
I know it's like light, night and
Yeah.
day.
it's like I believe so strong in just like kind of creativity and kind of giving your all to one vision, you know, and making that happen.
But then Overwatch is about collaboration.
Yeah, but Overwatch is about the beauty of collaboration, not just internally, but with your base of fans.
Yeah, and like there's no Hideo Kojima for Overwatch. There's thousands, and the fans are included in that.
I'm still sticking with Phantom Pain.
I think you could make a really good argument for either game, and this is way tighter than I thought it would be. I think I gotta go with Phantom Pain.
Gonna round it out and say I kind of agree that like
I guess I just believe in authorship a little more than I believe in community, even though like I love community as well.
I think Overwatch is sometimes so loose that it nearly like I mean there is a cowboy in it.
Yeah.
You know
And
that there
the
isn't
fiction that in there
yeah.
is now it's such a nitpick, but the fiction in Overwatch is awful.
It breaks its own fiction to
Yeah.
allow the gameplay to happen. So like there is some frustrating aspects. So I would say yeah for me Metal Gear as well.
And with that, we crown our first ever Let's Fight a Boss Galactic Champion of Hopes and Dreams, Metal Gear Solid 5.
The real game of the year.
Okay, let's go through the top 6 of Game of the Year 2016 because that's what we're doing today.
Okay.
Yep.
So we got Dark Souls 3 at number 6. We have Inside at number 5. Street Fighter 5 at number 4.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex at
Yeah.
number 3. Hyper Light Drifter at number 2. Good going. And Overwatch at number 1. Fuck yeah.
We did it.
Ouch.
Good.
I'm so tired.
Yeah,
I'm like emotionally devastated. So, we would love to hear your take on this list. I'm sure plenty of people don't agree with it, but you know what? None of us agree with it either, so we get it.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a compromise. Compromises are always difficult. I think over the holidays, we should all maybe tweet out on the Let's Fight a Boss Twitter what our personal top 10s were. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Or go for top 6, I think.
Yeah.
Top 6 is a nice, easier number.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
when you get in top 10, it gets like harder.
Okay. So that's it. Guys, enjoy the holidays. Have a great time. And thanks for joining us once again. And we will be back in the new year.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to us this
Yeah.
year. I really we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's like, I think we have more listeners now than we ever thought we would.
Yeah.
Oh, one tiny announcement. I'm going to be at MagFest 2017. So if you're there and you're not a murderer, let's just see what happens.
If you're a murderer, there's a bounty.
But yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the holidays and have a great new year, and we will see you then.
Happy holidays.
Bye, Merry Christmas.
Oh, this is gonna make you feel better. All right, in 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on, you can do it.
Imbalance. Find peace.
Now, hold on.
From one thing, no 10,000 things.
Come on, everyone, just a little bit longer. I'll be watching over you. I've got your back.
Just win, baby.
Don't worry, my friends. I will be your shield.
I've got your back.
Beauty can be found where everything is in harmony.
Don't worry, I'll patch you up.
Don't stop now. You have my attention.
Don't worry, there's still time.
Be sure to stretch before engaging in rigorous physical activity.
Do not be discouraged. Genji is with you.
Don't give up. You're amazing.
Make every second count.
Hey, come on, keep your head up.
Flow like the river.
Fight's not over yet. All we have to do is win this round.
Time is money, friends.
Remember your training, and we'll get through this just fine. Anything is possible. Peace be upon you, Khalil.
Hey, you gotta believe it.
Stay out of trouble. The universe shall embrace you.
I've got your back.
I believe in you.
I still love you.
Remember,
I'm with you.
Merry Christmas.